Hmm. So today we already covered Kepler's laws, and we also covered that what could be the problem when we are talking about Kepler's laws being used for designing a satellite orbit is the Earth's oblateness, which is actually resulting in the change in the orbital parameters, and we need to always take care that we maintain the orbital parameters so that we are able to continue with the communication. Now, coming to what other effects are there that may impact our communication. One thing we have seen is Earth's oblateness, right? Now, coming to what are the other things is, can anyone tell me, do you know the Earth, when Earth is revolving around the sun, is it in a uh, vertical orbit, or how is the orientation of, if this is my Earth's orbit, this is my Earth's orbit, this is my Earth, and this is the sun. The Earth and the sun, they are in line or having the same orbital plane. This is the orbit, this is Earth, and this is the sun. Okay, and I've drawn sun a little small. Okay, now what happens is the Earth and the sun are aligned in plane, means the orbital equatorial plane of the Earth and the sun, they are aligned to each other only for some time in the year, but it is having an inclination. Why? Because the Earth's orientation with the sun is having an angle. The axis of the Earth is having an angle of 23.5 degrees. So if we look at how is the angle or orientation of the Earth with respect to the sun, it can be represented by an equation given by I. Inclination is given by I E with respect to time is equivalent to 23.4 sine of 2 pi t by capital T. Okay, so this is how the orbital plane of the sun and the earth are inclined. Means what is the, when will this be zero? When will this be zero? If I draw a sinusoidal curve, right? If I draw, sorry, yeah. If I draw a sinusoidal curve, so basically your axis of the earth is having an inclination with respect to the sun's equatorial plane, which is not constant and which is actually changing with the time. So this is say t, small t, this is small t, and this is your inclination, right? Now can you tell me what does these points represent? These points when your inclination is zero. This is a point when your inclination is zero. This is a point when your inclination is zero. What do they represent? They represent equinox. Equinox is nothing but when the equatorial plane of the sun and the earth are aligned, right? So these are the point. There are two more points which we see, these points which are the peaks, right? So this, if I say this is your yeah, this is your this is your autumn equinox, this is your spring equinox, this point of zero, that is on 21st of March, this is around 21st of September. This is called as winter solstice, and this is called as summer solstice. Now what does these points actually represent? That is very important from the point of view to understand, right? At TA, your angle of inclination is 0, right? At TS also, your angle of inclination is 0, but at TW and TS, TW, the angle of inclination is maximum. What is the angle of maximum inclination? Can anyone tell me? What will be the maximum value of this IET which I had given you? Yes, look at the equation. It's a sine equation. What will be its maximum value? When will it be maximum? When sine theta is maximum. What is the maximum value of sine theta? 1. So when it is 1, IET is 23.4. Correct? And again at TSU, it will be minus 23.7. That is again, if I talk about magnitude, it is 23.4, not 7. So I'm talking about absolute values, magnitudes, so that you don't get confused कि madam ये minus है plus है. I'm just talking about the peak points. Now, yeah, something is there in the chat box. Yeah, 23.5 maximum, correct, Mohit. So what does it mean? When it is winter solstice and when it is summer solstice, what is happening is it has a maximum inclination towards the sun. It is bending towards the sun. On one case is when it is bending toward the sun, and the other case is when it is moving away from the sun, right? So what do you understand? What does it mean? Say this is a point when you have the maximum inclination. So what will happen is the northern hemisphere is moving towards the sun. So which season does it represent? When you are bending towards the sun, which season? Do you know the reason for having seasons on the earth is this is the reason your axis is inclined with respect to the sun. For some times it is in bending towards the sun, and some part, say whatever we know, when it is summer in the northern hemisphere, it is winter in the southern hemisphere, and when it is winter in the southern hemisphere, it is summer in the northern hemisphere. See, right, these are the two cases maximum. One, bending towards the sun. So this is away. One, it is away from the sun. This part is bending. So tell me, can anyone tell me what is this case representing? Means I'm saying this is maximum bending towards the sun. What is the season in the northern hemisphere? Sun ke taraf hai, bending hai, yes. Perfect, summer, right? And in southern hemisphere, it is winter. And when we have this this case of maximum bending away from the sun, it is a case when you have a, what will be the season? It will be winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere. So these bending of your axis is actually defining the season and also defining the energies being generated by your satellites. Why we are studying all this is bending. It is actually impacting having an effect in the communication, because we all have been experiencing certain things while watching our cable network, which we are receiving, Tata Sky or other Airtel, anything which services that you are using. We find certain points when we are actually, there is no rain, right? अभी रेनी सीजन में तो ठीक है, सिग्नल करप्ट हुआ थोड़ा समझ में आता है. Summer, peak summers may we experience. Has anyone experienced that peak summer? They are saying you are not receiving a sun. Wait till the sun is out of the sun outage or something. Have you ever observed? Yes, Vivek. So what is happening is these are the points when you are. This is a point. This spring equinox, it is around 21st of March, and this autumn equinox, it is around 21st of September. Then this is around 21st of December, and this is around 21st of June, right? Correct? Yeah, June. So it is 21st of June. So it is round. In peak summers, we don't receive a signal. Peak winters also, we don't receive the signal. And we face certain problems at equinox also, right? So what are these problems and how they are affecting our communication? For that, I first want to show you some videos. I just, right now, is the concept clear? The Earth's axis is having an inclination with respect to the sun, and with respect to the sun, when it is having an inclination, we are experiencing the seasons. And now we are looking into how this change in season will be affecting our, now we are looking into how this change in season will be affecting our communication system performance. Okay, so first we will see the video and then come back to it. I hope you have noted down the equations which I wrote, right? They are important to understand this whole process, because all the proofs that we'll be doing is with respect to these equations. Okay, so why, and now because of this, the two major effects that happen is your eclipse and a sun transit, which was shown in the video. The first video was taking natural moon as a satellite. I just tried to show you that there are the cases when the shadow is occurring on the earth, and the reverse happen is earth's shadow occurs on the moon. So the case when the Earth's shadow fall on a satellite is called as an eclipse. Why eclipse? Because the word eclipse is just an indication of no light falling, right? So who takes the energy from the, from where does the satellite take the energy? The satellite takes the energy from the sun. So what is happening is when the earth is coming in between the sun and the satellite, we call it as a eclipse, or we call it as an earth eclipse. And the second is, it could be also because of a moon stopping the sunlight falling on the earth, right? So both the cases, what is happening is the sunlight is not falling on the satellite because of the satellite is lying in the shadow region of the earth or the moon. So the point is, the both the cases, what is happening is the satellite is not able to generate its energy. Can anyone tell me what will happen if satellite is not able to generate its energy? What will happen? Tell me what will happen.
It will, the transmission between the uplink and downlink, like the downlink will stop for a while.
Right. So it will not have an energy to give it to the signal. Point is, that is not actually the case. It will have problems in working perfectly. It will have problems in working. What is happening is working in a sense that the satellite has various operations going on in it. See, it is revolving in its orbit because you have already given it a velocity, and that will try to maintain it, and small deflections are happening which you can rectify later on when you have more energy. But when the energy supply or generation stops, what is happening is there are various operations with the requirement of energy or the power, like sensing or various things that are operating on the satellite. Now once the energy is less, what happens is we need to actually shut down certain services, because finally what is the main objective is to keep the satellite in the orbit and maintain its necessary operation. So at that time, when you don't have the energy, you basically shut down certain services which are not so essential. Okay, and it is how we take care of it is, I'll explain you later, is eclipse is a process where the satellite is actually in the dark and is not receiving the energy from the sun, and it is actually designed, when you are designing the orbit or the launch time, right? You have seen that to a precision of a fraction of a second, we have 10, 9, 8, and at the exact time you launch your satellite. There is a reason for it, that when you launch the satellite in the orbit, this eclipse condition, when it is occurring, it should be in the night time of a satellite. Night time of a satellite when the operations are already less, and less power generation will actually not impact the performance of the satellite or communication system. So eclipse is bound to occur. When it is bound to occur, as I shown you in the video, I'll just show you the two cases. Yeah. So this is the picture that I clicked to show you is, see, this is the condition. Can you see? When your satellite, this is an inclination, right? This is an this is sun and the earth. This is the inclination of the earth's axis with respect to the sun, and with the change in it, what is happening is you are getting the various seasons. Now this is a condition when if the satellite is in this portion, right? Can you see this? I'll have to use a white color. When the satellite is in this portion, what is happening is it is behind the earth, right? When it is behind the earth is blocking the sunlight. So what is happening is this satellite will be in the eclipse condition. This is again if the satellite, and this happens under the two cases when the inclination of the axis and the orbital plane, the earth's equatorial plane and the sun's equatorial plane, it is 0. So eclipse occurs at the equinox, right? Please see equinox, the spring equinox and the autumn equinox. When the both the axes are aligned, then what will happen is the sun energies, if not reaching, you will have an eclipse condition. And although the dates written is only 21st March and 23rd, it's a prolonged process which starts 21 days before the equinox and lasts 21 days after the equinox. So it is approximately a 42 days process when the satellite will be under the eclipse condition and will not be able to generate the required power, right? The other condition that can happen is this at summer solstice and winter solstices. If your satellite is in between the, or basically this is the position of your satellite, what is happening is, have you seen the sun energy that it showed? We are losing the signal because the sun power is overpowering the signal. So what is happening is the sun energy is what? Heat energy. The heat energy is the noise. So what will happen to the signal to noise ratio? It drastically reduces because the noise has increased. The noise has increased in this period because the sun is directly, ये आपका signal जा रहा है earth को और sun का भी साथ में signal आ रहा है. So what is happening is there is lot of noise, and in this period you do not receive the signal because of the deteriorated signal to noise ratio. This we call it as a sun transit, and it is only for the period till the satellite in this area. As soon as it moves away from it, it is actually out of this high sun strength and it is able to actually overcome this signal to noise ratio deterioration, and you are able to get it. So right now we are discussing the two major problems in communication because of the earth's axis inclination with respect to the sun. That is, one is eclipse that occurs on for around 42 days at the equinox, that is around 21st of March. That is around 21st of March and 23rd of March, a period of 42 days, right? Starting from 21 days before the equinox to 21 days after the equinox, when the satellite is in the shadow region of the earth and is not receiving the sunlight from the sun to generate its power, and therefore what is happening is it has to shut down its certain services, How can we reduce the impact of it? Is I told you that you can reduce the impact by planning when this eclipse should occur, because eclipse is something which cannot be avoided. It is bound to happen because it's seasonal, and it is because of the orientation of the Earth's axis that when both are aligned, the sun rays come parallel, and therefore you have a large shadow region. And when the satellite enters the shadow region, you are basically not able to see the yeah. Yes, Smriti, should I complete this, then I'll come back to your doubts. So this is the first problem, and the second problem which we all have experienced is winter solstice and summer solstices, when the sun rays or the power of the sun overpowers the power of the signal, that is the sunbeams are aligned with the signal that is coming from the satellite to the earth. So sun is a source of solar energy, thermal energy, which is a noise, and therefore the signal to noise ratio deteriorates, and we are actually giving, as we have seen, um, no signal or still signal or blurred images, or we are not able to actually, we have to simply, and we, it's simply as they said in the video, it's for some time we have to wait for satellite to move out of that sun transit region and be able to again transmit the signal. When it is actually, it depends upon whether we can allow the signal to be lost, or we need to continue with the signal, because this is something which is maybe actually harmful when we are talking about data communication. And when will it happen? Will it happen in daytime, or will it happen at the night time? Day, perfectly. It will happen during the daytime, and during the daytime it is the working hours. So when it is working hours means there is lot of data communication taking place. As far as the cable broadcast or the satellite TV broadcast is concerned, we can afford to lose the signal because it is not so important, and therefore we observe this is happening. But in case it is happening during the daytime for some important communication taking place, what may be done, or what is actually done is, during this time when the satellite is in the sun transit region, you are actually using some other satellite to communicate and not lose your communication time. So it is like a handshake, or which, or backup which we have it, so that when we are losing a communication with the satellite during the sun transit time, we are actually, important communication still continues by shifting the communication from the satellite in the sun transit region to other satellite which is not in the sun transit region, and still receiving the signal. Is it clear? So this is a diagram of eclipse, that you know, now the earth and the sun are in aligned, so the sun rays are coming parallel, so that you know parallel aega to maximum shadow hai. So shadow may, as soon as the satellite enters in the shadow region, it is not having the sunlight to produce its energy, so it has to shut down its certain services, and this occurs at the equinox when you have the sun rays coming parallel and the maximum shadow. When they are coming slanting, they have a lesser impact. Now if I go to the next drawing or next picture, see, this is a case for sun transit. Say earth is moving around the sun, this is the time when it is in this region, it may be a transit, and when it is, this is the sun, this is the satellite and the earth. So sun rays are overpowering the signal strength, and what earth is receiving a deteriorated signal, and we actually lose the signal. तो अगर आपको इस टाइम पे भी कम्युनिकेट करना है, when it is in the sun transit region, we can start communicating with the satellite in this particular region and continue with our communication. Is it okay? Yes? Yes or no? समझ में आया ये दो definitions? Of definitely the proof part is remaining, we will do it, but is the concept clear? What is sun transit, and now do you understand? I hope you will now be able to tell your family why this problem of no signal is coming, during the summers. We actually fail to understand. इतना गर्मी में बारिश में तो समझ में आता है. We actually, and now why it is happening in summers. So now we can actually explain the reason to anybody why we are not receiving a signal is, the reason is because the sun which is a source of thermal noise, is actually overpowering the signal strength, and we are losing our communication. It is say for 15-20 minutes. We will find out that number. 15-20 minutes है या ज़्यादा मिनट है, कितने देर के लिए sun transit होता है. All this we need to prove it. Is it clear? It is similar to our coverage and limit of visibility. It won't take much time, but is the concept clear? This is very important. Yeah, the two words used for very good, Smriti, the sun transit and sun outage, they are the same process, same. Okay. Now, sun is a source which is at infinity, right? We can always make an approximation as sun being at infinity. So the rays coming from the sun during the equinox are coming parallel. Okay, so they are coming parallel. So when it is coming parallel, do you agree this will be the maximum shadow region? Means every part of the earth is getting or creating a shadow in the orbit. This is my orbit. Okay, this is orbit. This is the rays from the sun, and this is earth, right? Now what we are assuming is the sun is at infinity, and therefore at equinox the rays coming from the sun are parallel, and this is the maximum shadow region. Okay, this is the maximum shadow region. Now tell me, how much time will the satellite, say we are taking an example of a geostationary satellite. Yes, what happened? Yeah. Let's take, and for this proof, finding this proof, which I said 21 days, it's for a geostationary satellite. Okay. So when I say a geostationary satellite, how much time does it take to complete its one orbit? Everyone, you agree, na? It's 24 hours. Okay? Correct. 24 hours, perfect, Bhavik. So time by the satellite to complete basically 360 degrees. Right? 24 hours for 360 degrees, right? Perfect. Okay. Now tell me, how much is this? How much degree is this of the orbit? ये angle कितना है? Can anyone find out? ये total angle कितना है? ये पूरा तो 360 है, correct? ये पूरा आपका 360 है. मुझे सिर्फ इतना टाइम निकालना है. That will tell me the maximum time for which the satellite in the shadow area. Do you agree with me? What I'm trying to find out, the first question that we are trying to answer is, for how much maximum time the satellite will be in the shadow region. So, yes, 24 hours है. Yes, we have to find out. Perfect. 24 hours में 360 है. अब मुझे बता दो सिर्फ इतना area. How much time will it take to cover this much portion of the orbit? Because that is the maximum shadow region. ये angle कितना है find out कर सकते हो आप? आपने find out किया हुआ है. Half angle पहले find out कर लो. Yes, sector से जाने का half angle कितना है? तो double will be the total angle. Tan of 5. This is how much? This is nothing but because it's coming tangent. It is the radius of the earth. ये कितना है? ये वाली side कितनी है? It is radius of the earth. और ये कितना है? It is the height of a geostationary satellite from the center of the earth. Huh? 42,000. Okay. So let me write the values. So phi is equivalent to that is tan inverse. मैं tan phi ले रही हूँ. तो tan inverse of opposite side, that is RE, divided by RS. Correct? तो इसकी वैल्यू कितनी होगी? Is equivalent to tan inverse of RE 6400 लो, RS को 42,000 लो. So tan inverse of 6400 by 42,000 कितना होता है? निकाला हुआ है आपने? Yes, 8.66. Ridang, please find out The answer is 8.66. तो पूरा सेक्टर का एंगल कितना हुआ? जिस सेक्टर में शैडो है, सेक्टर का एंगल कितना हुआ बताओ? It is this into 2. Yes, 17.38. 2 into 8.66 is equivalent to 17.32. Correct. Right? Now can you tell me, अगर 360 degrees को 24 hours लगता है, तो 17.2 degree को कितना टाइम लगेगा? Can anyone tell me how many hours or how many minutes? Yes, what I am saying is, ये हम लोग किसका एग्जाम्पल ले रहे हैं? जियो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट का, राइट? और सन रेज अगर पैरेलल आएंगी तो क्या होगा? द शैडो विल बी फॉर्म टैंजेंट टू द, जो भी रेज अर्थ के टैंजेंट आई, यहाँ से आपका फॉर्म होगा. Yeah, 1.15 hours, perfect answer, crucial. So what is happening is they will come tangent, माने shadow कितनी होगी maximum जो अर्थ की फॉर्म होगी इतनी बड़ी. अभी इसका इस सेक्टर का एंगल कितना है मुझे फाइंड आउट करना है, क्योंकि मुझे पता है सैटेलाइट को पूरा ऑर्बिट घूमने में लगते हैं 24 आवर्स. अब ये सेक्टर को मूव करने में कितना टाइम लगेगा? बिकॉज आई फाउंड आउट द एंगल ऑफ दिस सेक्टर इज हाउ मच? एंगल ऑफ दिस सेक्टर इज twice of 8.66. ठीक है, तो 17.32. अगर 360 डिग्रीज 24 आवर्स में है तो 17.2 डिग्रीज कितने आवर्स में होगा बताओ? यस करेक्ट ध्रुविक, निकालो, सिंपल मैथ्स है. इट इज 24 divided by 360 into 17.32. Perfect. This is the time taken by the satellite to cover this particular sector, and what it is the maximum, is it not? इससे ज्यादा बड़ी शैडो हो सकती है क्या अर्थ की? नहीं, इससे बड़ी तो शैडो हो ही नहीं सकती. तो what we are finding is a worst case. What is the maximum time for which a satellite will be in a shadow region? It is, how much is the answer? 1.15, 69 minutes, perfect. It is 1.15 hours or 69 minutes. Okay, so I've just repeat this. This is important. Two proofs that we are doing right now are very important. ये क्या है? ये अर्थ है, ये ऑर्बिट है, ये सन है. The sun being at infinity, we are assuming the rays coming parallel. We are taking a case of an equinox. When the sun rays are coming parallel, the maximum shadow will be formed when the sun rays are blocked by the earth that is coming tangential. तो ये आपका maximum shadow region हो गया. अभी अगर आपका मैक्सिमम शैडो रीजन हुआ तो ये कितना पार्ट ऑफ अ सेक्टर है? आपका जियो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट एक सर्कुलर ऑर्बिट है जो एक 360 डिग्री बनाता है. वो 360 डिग्रीज वो 24 आवर्स में कंप्लीट करता है. तो ये छोटा सा सेक्टर कितना है? तो हमने निकाला tan इनवर्स का रिलेशन यूज करके, द tan इनवर्स ऑफ ऑपोजिट साइड दैट इज आर ई, क्योंकि हमें पता है ये टेंजेंशियल आ रहा है तो इट इज पैरेलल. सो ये आर ई हो गया और ये कितना हो गया? दिस इज आर एस. So tan inverse of RE by RS आपको मिलता है 8.66, which is half of the total sector angle. So total sector angle कितना होगा? Double of it, that is 17.32. अब मुझे पता है total time is 24 hours for 360 degrees. So 17.2 degrees के लिए कितना होगा? 24 by 360 into 17.32, which is hours, 1.15 hours or 69 minutes. Okay. Again coming to the same thing is, अब मुझे find out क्या करना है. मैंने आपको क्या डाटा दिया है? This eclipse starts 21 days before and lasts 21 days after. अभी इसका ये मतलब है कि ये जो रेड लाइंस जो है वो मैं सन को रिप्रेजेंट कर रही हूँ. Now this is a case when will the shadow start happening? Shadow will start happening as soon as the earth starts objecting the sun rays. When will the earth start objecting the sun rays? When they come tangential. So the first ray that will be blocked is, this is the ray which will be blocked or will be स्टार्टिंग ऑफ योर एक्लिप्स, जो मैंने आपको बोला है ना 21 डेज, ये जो है मैक्सिमम है, बट ये एक्लिप्स स्टार्ट कब होगा, जब सन रेज आपकी ये पर्टिकुलर एंगल पे आएंगी एंड देन आफ्टर दिस दे आर लाइक दिस, तो ऑब्जेक्ट होंगी यहां से यहां तक, राइट? Correct. This is the case which I am trying to explain you is when will the eclipse occur? This is the case when I talked about on equinox. This is a maximum shadow region. But the shadows start happening before also, as soon as the rays are getting objected by the earth. Do you agree to this? That it is not a one-day process, but it will start as soon as the sun rays are getting objected by the earth. Yes, everyone, do you agree to this point? The sun rays get objected by the earth not only on one day, but it is a process for coming to a maximum position to the minimum position. So ये वाला दिन कब होगा? This is, say, if I say this is 21st of March, a condition when I have the sun rays coming perfectly parallel, casting a maximum shadow. पर यहाँ पे हो सकता है shadow पहले इतनी हो. So we have, I said, na, it's a maximum time is 1.15 hours or 69 minutes. ये तो हमने derive कर लिया. अब मुझे बताओ कब ये tangent आएगी, कब ये tangent होगी? Can anyone think of it? When will it start? Yes, in this, small t is any time period and capital T is the time taken by the earth to complete its one revolution. So that is 365 days. Capital T is a fixed value of 365 days. Okay.
The shadow.
Yes, yes. When the rays are actually getting obstructed, even if they are coming at slant. Now, how does the slant actually define? It is defined with respect to the Earth's axis orientation, right? So when the Earth's axis is such that it is getting objected by the Earth, so sorry, sun rays are getting objected by the Earth, it is actually casting a shadow. So we will find out the time period using this equation, that is, yeah. Now, so now this part is T. We have to find out the time. When will it be objected? When the Earth's axis is getting a inclination. Okay, my drawings are lost. So it is coming, sun rays are coming tangent and it will be objected when the Earth is aligned. Do you agree to this? So for the Earth to be aligned, we need to find out when will it be. So it is T, small t. Small t is equivalent to, can you tell me the expression of small t? It is IET divided by 23.4 sine inverse of IET divided by 23.4. Is my expression correct? Is my expression correct? What I have written it here? Do you agree with my, yes, T by 2 pi sine is a perfect, crucial, perfect. This is the, so it is simply derived from this. Now tell me, what is the time when it is starting? The moment it is coming tangent. Tangent means this is the ray, right? Tangent means this is the ray. Can you tell me what is the angle? What is the angle this ray is forming? ये angle कितना है? Tangent तभी है जब वो angle form कर रहा है. तो tangent का मुझे बताइए. Tangent का ये angle क्या है? Can you tell me what is this angle? IET. That is when it is starting. कौन से टाइम पे ये स्टार्ट हो रही है? द मोमेंट इट इज कमिंग tangent. Tangent का एंगल क्या बन रहा है ऑर्बिट पे? बिकॉज दैट इज अ पॉइंट व्हेन इट इज विल बी फॉर्मिंग अ शैडो हियर. कैन यू टेल मी दिस वैल्यू? IET कितना होगा? T is nothing but, again, the opposite side is RE, adjacent side is RS. So tan inverse of RE by RS, which we have already calculated to be 8.66, right? Yes, perfect, Mohit. Same, correct, Kirti. So we are getting 8.66. Now putting IE to be 8.66, can you tell me the value of T that you will be getting? T कितना आएगा बता सकते हो? Simply solve, and the answer of T will be in days because 365, the unit is in days. So the answer that you will be getting is how many days? Sorry. Yeah, so the maximum time for which the satellite will be in the orbit, in the shadow, is 1.515 hours. And when will this process start? 22 days before the equinox to 22 days after the equinox. That is, till this point, it is coming tangent. Okay, is it clear? ये important proof है आपका. Proof आता है what are the communication problems, and you are asked to prove or justify why this process occurs, that is 21 days before, or how you can explain it. So this is how you will justify your point for which we have just not done the proof. I hope this proof is clear. Okay, you use degrees instead of radians. Okay. तो रिपीट करने का जरूरत है इसको, प्रूफ को, or is it clear? So two things that we have done in this proof for an eclipse. One proof is for how much time it will be in an eclipse, means almost for 1.5 hours, that you have to shut down your important services because the power is not being generated because satellite is in the eclipse region. And that may not happen only for one day, it may happen for days together, that is around equinox, 21 days before to 21 days after. And this process, the time may vary from maximum, minimum say few minutes in the eclipse region to maximum of 1.5 hours. That is what we have derived in this expression. Okay. Now the other things, communication problems that I have listed in the first slide, I would like to go to that slide, was, which I have actually already shared, is now this is a Doppler shift. What is a Doppler shift? We have already seen that because of the Doppler shift, the frequency that we are supposed to receive, we are not able to receive. We are getting some other frequency, and there is a variation in the frequency depending upon the velocity. The velocity at which, or the relative velocity that we are getting. So there will be a relative frequency minus the transmitted frequency. There will be, dependent upon the velocity divided by the so what happens is, there is a relative frequency that we are receiving, the receiver frequency. The FR is the receiver frequency, FT is the transmitted frequency. So FR minus FT by FT is given by the transmitter velocity divided by the phase velocity of the light, which is nothing but 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second in free space. So this is, Doppler effect is nothing but because of the relative motion, that we may not be receiving the same frequency as being transmitted. And in case we are aware about the velocity and everything, the calculations can be done to derive the correct frequency, so that we get the same find the same frequency and receive our signal, rather than losing the information because we could not detect the right frequency. And the last one is the range. So what do I mean by the range is, again, it actually comes from the same relation that the earth, relation between the earth and the sun, that there is an inclination, and if suppose there is an earth station, which is sometimes it may be like An Earth station, sometimes it is near and sometimes it is away. That is for 6 months it is near to the Earth and 6 months it is away from the Earth. So what is happening is, because of this, the distance between the Earth station and the satellite, sometimes it will be large and sometimes. So for the other time, what will happen is, for the next 6 months, this is the position that will be the axis ka. So the Earth point may somewhere shift here, right? So what is happening to the range? Range is nothing but the distance from the Earth station to the, so from the Earth station to the satellite. So what is happening is, this is what is happening, and because of which the Earth's axis is changing, the distance is changing, and what will be the impact of it? So what I'm trying to say is, eclipse and sun transit, we have done it in detail. I'm just explaining Doppler and shift range variation. The Doppler is nothing but change in the received frequency from the transmitted frequency because of the relative motion in the transmitter and the receiver. Now, because of this, what may happen is, what you have transmitted may not be received by the Earth station. And in case the Earth station is not aware of it, what will happen is, it may be trying to detect the or capture the wrong frequency, and in this process, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So in this process, we may lose the signal. So it is important to know what are the shifts that is happening, which can be calculated using this relation which I gave you as Fr minus Ft by Ft equal to Vt by Vp. And that will help us to find out what is the shift in the frequency, and then we can actually detect the right frequency. This last one is the range that I'm talking. What is the range? Range is nothing but the distance between the satellite and the Earth station. Now, what is happening is, the position of the Earth station is not fixed because of the Earth's change in the Earth's orientation with the axis that I have already told you. So there are two cases I have shown you for the same Earth station. The distance between the satellite and the Earth is changing. In this case, it is longer, and in this case, it is shorter. So my question was, what is an impact of this on the communication? अगर range change हुआ तो communication में क्या impact होगा? Yes, it will take more time. Yes, the case one which I have shown you, the time is more than case 2, right? So if I'm using case 2, if I'm using a time division multiplexing TDM, what is happening is, we are sending the signal after a fixed time. So what will happen is, the time will change, and you need to actually provide the actual guard band calculating the worst case. And that may actually sometimes result in wastage of the bandwidth. But we cannot avoid certain things, because these are natural phenomena, and we need to take care of these phenomena so that there is no aliasing, no overlapping, and the Earth station is able to communicate during the time when it is supposed to accept its signal. So range variation may vary the time of the signal traveling, and sometimes it may reach faster than the other case. And in this way, what is happening is, we are actually not getting the signals at the right time. So जब हम time division multiplexing करेंगे, तो हम एक guard band पूरा लगा के for the worst case के लिए करना पड़ेगा, ताकि we don't miss the signal under any circumstances. Right? So the problems that we are facing, the orbital effect in communication system performance, one is an eclipse that occurs on the equinox 21 days before to 21 days after, where the satellite is not able to generate its power maximum in a day for 1.15 hours or 69 minutes. And this process is a long process at the equinox that happens twice in a year. The second is a sun transit, when the satellite, the rays from the sun are actually aligning with the signals being sent by the satellite, and hence it deteriorates the signal to noise ratio, because the sun rays are the heat, temperature, which is adding to the noise, and therefore the signal to noise ratio deteriorates and we are not able to receive the signal perfectly. Now the next is the Doppler effect, that is we don't receive the same frequency that is transmitted if there is a relative motion, and therefore we need to take care while making the calculation as what will be the received frequency depending upon the velocity of the transmitter, that is the satellite, and what was the signal velocity, that is the phase velocity of the light. Finally, we come to the last problem of orbital effect in communication is the range variation, which is a problem when we are doing a TDMA, that is a time division multiple access, where that is after every fixed time slot, the user is able to communicate with the Earth station. And in this process, there has to be a fixed time interval. And if the time varying is there, we need to always design this time slot with respect to the maximum time, and this may actually sometimes result in some loss or available resource, that is the Earth's bandwidth, because we are losing during certain times when the time period required is less. But always your designing is for the worst case, which you already know.